All right, we are taking a look at Amazon Employee Learning Lab, and I'm joined by Bongard. Hello, and welcome to the stream.
Thank you so much for having me. I think I also have at least one other team member in the chat, Roka. Yep, there he is.
Yo, what's up? Nice.
So he's around. Might have a few more join in the chat as we go.
That would be great. Yeah, everyone is absolutely welcome. If anyone wants to join the Discord, we can send them out an invite, and they can hop into the voice chat as well if they like.
For sure, I've let them know. I think they're probably
at work, unfortunately.
Yeah, Roka's at work.
That's totally understand. Okay, so we are going to get started playing the game here, and in the meantime, if you can introduce yourself by talking about your background in game development and your role on this project.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Bongard. I've been doing LDs for many years now. Let me go look to see what my first LD game was. 41. LD 41 is my first. So it's been a while. I got into it because my friend Jake got into it at a young age, and he went off and did more game design stuff than I did. In fact, Roka also went off and Roka does adjacent to real game design work. We'll say. I however went a different path. I went down electrical engineering. So I don't actually do that much programming anymore in my job. Just a little bit of Python scripting here and there. So I really enjoy Ludum Dare because it gives me an excuse to really dig in deep with getting back into some more programming stuff, right? So yeah, that's
nice.
That's my background.
So I have read and understand the terms of what I'm supposed to be doing, but oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm assuming at a certain point.
Please do not incinerate any children.
So also another thing, we wrote it in the control section that you read and agreed to, right? But we really needed a way to tutorialize this in game because of course nobody actually reads the instructions. But you can hold the drop button to throw it, and so that can be particularly helpful.
Okay. So trash goes in fire. Okay. Oh, I see that this little gray cube. Oh, okay. Yeah, wow, that's going to help a lot, but it went in the wrong thing. So whoa, okay. So the length of time that you were holding it down, what is determining?
See, some of those the whole time goes into force. Sometimes there's just a little bit of physics jank, right, where something explodes in one direction. That's something obviously I would have liked to fix, but it's LD and it's hard to troubleshoot that sort of physics issue. This was in Godot. This is our third game in Godot. And so we're still kind of getting hang of, especially the physics.
Remember, if you have time to lead, you have time to clean.
If you have time to eat, you have time to clean.
If you have time to lean, you have time to clean.
Lean. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, I think anybody who's worked in retail has probably heard that one before. I know I have back from my Walgreens days. One of the things I thought we did pretty well in this jam was the in-game tutorialization, for the most part, with the major exception of holding the throw. I think the rest of the in-game tutorialization worked out really well, a lot better than what we usually do, because that's something we're always struggling with and striving to do better.
Yeah, I mean the basics of, and I appreciate you took the time to not only color code these, but also have symbols associated with each of them.
Yep, that goes all out to Roka from the very beginning. He's like, I want colors and symbols. We don't want to leave anybody who may be like colorblind or something like that behind, right? We wanted to make things accessible and also just faster recognition too.
For your safety, the bathrooms at this facility have been removed.
For your safety, the bathrooms have been removed. Is that what that said?
I think so. We had our sound guy put together all of the sound bites and all the music. He didn't even join. So the Friday night he had something going on, so he didn't join our brainstorming. He didn't even join the Discord voice call working on the game until like, I don't know, Saturday night, Sunday morning or something. He just went off and made sound and music and came back and showed us what he's doing. And man, it's awesome every time.
Wow. I mean, the game gets real overwhelming really quickly here. Like I assume that the music is picking up, that is sort of giving me the sensation that, oh yeah, and this is, I see ghosts need to go there. I feel like I'm on the verge of something going wrong, but oh no, I see. There's the strikes at the top of the screen.
Yep, strikes at the top of the screen. Actually, the fun bit is the music is directly tied to how many strikes you have. So there is a way to earn back strikes. Just getting 15 points will earn back a strike. And actually, fun fact that the music will calm back down if you earn strikes back and you go back towards green.
Mhm.
Music chills out. And our music guy, he ended up exporting like a ton of 2-bar loops essentially to build this music so that it can change quickly to what's going on with the game.
Yeah, I see. I've just earned a sort of positive point there, and I'm now back down to the music chilling out just a little bit. But the facility itself is also falling apart, so I think that's going to start causing problems shortly.
Yep. And the floor tiles falling out, and the fact that the packages are kind of piling up closer and closer to the incinerator.
Yeah.
That was kind of how we wanted to include the tied back to the theme a little bit more, right?
Mhm.
On limited space and making you feel like you're running out of space, which was a different LD theme. I don't know if you remember. Let's see, which LD was it? LD 42 actually was this running out of space theme.
Okay. I really only got into participating in Ludum Dare around like 48, I believe. So
Okay.
I have not kept up with Ludum Dare. I have participated in like, I don't know, 15, 16 game jams. I've lost count, but I have not had time for a Ludum Dare in quite a while. I don't participate in Ludum Dare unless the theme really grabs me, and unfortunately the last few just haven't really sparked my imagination, so...
Yeah, I feel you on that. It is sometimes a little hard with the theme.
So yeah, obviously the theme was the inspiration with this one. The whole idea of Amazon shipping fulfillment is an undercurrent, shall we say.
Just a little bit political, not too much though.
Oh boy, we are on the verge of failure here. If I'm not careful, I will knock the packages, oh my god, across the screen like that. I think that's going to be the death of me. I just fell in the pit.
Oh no. Well.
We have to let you go. Okay, well, I'm a little worried. Like that sounds like they're gonna process me.
Did you know? So one of my favorite little touches is on the tutorial pop-up for the van when you first do the piglet thing, right? I think it says like Jimmy Bean's Orphanage. It's a dark game, to be perfectly honest, but we had fun with the with the little details here and there. So we had a dedicated 3D artist and a dedicated 2D artist. That kind of allowed us to do a lot of these little jokes. 3D artist is Roka in chat there. So he did almost all the modeling. We did have one other guy contributed the character model. And he did everything else. So
Nice.
he was very busy.
Yeah, I can imagine. So yeah, can you talk a little bit about the actual development process of the game?
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, this time we all got together Friday night, but, you know, Roka and a few others had, especially with, I don't know if you noticed, but it seemed like a few weeks ago, it said on the website that it was going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then it got moved up to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we decided to take Monday off instead, so we had a late start Friday. We really just did brainstorming on a Friday night. We didn't honestly open up the game until Monday or to Saturday morning, which something I hate to do, but you know, sometimes it works out that way, right?
Yeah.
And then we just kind of get to it. I do a lot of the scripting. Generally, you know, my focus is on systems. We have another guy who did the character controller and the physics kind of work. And then our audio guy, once he's done with audio, came in and he did all the coding for you know, implementing audio as well as a bunch of other bug fixes and things here and there that we needed. We had Roka doing the art. We had a 2D artist doing all the 2D art. That was kind of it for this jam. We have a fairly large team, and it kind of shrinks and grows based on people's availabilities each time, right?
Yeah,
but it's always
absolutely.
really fun. We try to get all of our friends, any of our friends who are like, yeah, I don't really know what I can do or how to join. We're like, no, just join us. We'll find something. Like, even if you're just making to-do lists for us, like that's something we absolutely need, right? Like, we need somebody to track bugs, and we're all too busy trying to fix them to like spend the time to properly write out the to-do list. And that's organization is something that we kind of struggle with, to be perfectly honest.
So how large was the team, like all told? Like once everyone ended up, like I know you were saying like some people didn't necessarily have as much time to participate as everyone else, but
So we had about what is that, like 7-ish people on this jam. We've had jams go up to as high as 12 people, and that's awesome and fun. But it
Wow.
becomes then you basically almost need a dedicated project manager just to
yeah.
organize people, right?
Your
Um,
turn to clean.
So this time, yeah, we had about 7 people, fair amount of artists as well as programmers, and it worked out pretty well. We have kind of some of us have been doing this for a long time. Others kind of join here and there when they have availability, and it's really a really fun time that we really enjoy.
Nice.
Yeah, so here's Roka in the chat saying he usually tries to make the basic structure of the level first. So that we have something, so we'll white box out some, well, not even white box really. We just make like a test level.
Yeah.
And Roka tries to make the basic structure, so that we can start playing, especially in this game where the size of the room is really important, right? So in our first draft, we actually had the room expanded almost twice as far to the right. And we had things that were spread out, and it just kind of felt like we were spending a ton of time just running back and forth. And so you still do a bit of that, but we wanted to kind of condense things and also hit the theme harder with the
The
limited space
bathrooms
there.
at this facility have been
You can also jump. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I just realized I was getting stuck on the rim there, so
And some of the fun, when you play testing this, obviously you're pretty good at it. You can toss into any portal from the left side of the incinerator. To get to like the yellow one, you have to do like a run and jump toss because momentum is transferred.
okay.
So there's some little tricks on how to get good. And we also have a leaderboard. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes.
That's always it's a little bit buggy. I think we got most of the bugs worked out. But the leaderboards can be a little tricky sometimes to get totally bug free.
Seems like being a Ghostbuster really is the best way to do well in this game.
Yeah, the ghosts are definitely meta. The 10 points is really nice. We made it 10 points because if you let them go, they will wander around and they'll get you into trouble and knock packages places you don't want them. So they are pretty critical to deal with right away.
Oh my god. No, that one package is just bouncing in the box and oh my god.
Oh no! Okay. It disappeared. Yeah, that's one of my biggest regrets is not getting. Oh no, the physics worked out better because it does suck when you accidentally knock a package and all of a sudden you have 5 packages flying across the room. That doesn't feel great, and that's something I wish. I think what needs to happen is the boxes need to be heavier, but we tried that, but then we'd have to recalibrate how far you could throw it, and the whole physics system would need some reworking, right? So that's kind of like, I guess, one of our regrets with this is the boxes flying across the room.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think that this could have worked just as well as a purely UI mouse-based game, like click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. Still could have been about as frantic, but then you wouldn't have had to worry about the character controller aspect, and you still could have had the ability to click and drag and fling a package.
That's a good point. The flinging, I feel, is important because we wanted to really embody that that frantic, chaotic feeling. We wanted packages flying places, not as much as they do now, but we wanted some part of that.
Yeah.
So the clicking, dragging is an interesting thing. We honestly hadn't considered that. In fact, towards the end, we were considering man, we just so many packages piling up, and it feels so scary. We need to give the player another tool. So we thought about giving the player a hand truck or something they can move a bunch of packages at once. And it's just well, we were discussing it, and somebody else saw our chat and was like, "Are you guys was just crazy. Like, you want to add a mechanic on Sunday afternoon? Like, we're not doing that. And I'm like, yeah, that's smart. That's smart. We shouldn't be adding mechanics this late into the game. Actually, I think it was Monday morning we wanted to add a mechanic. And the guy was like, no way, we're not doing that. It's like, hey. And so that's when we decided to actually make the room a bit smaller. That kind of alleviated some of that tediousness in the earlier versions of the game.
Nice. Oh, I guess because I didn't name myself, I'm just Sad Ham, but I'm number 5 on here.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's something I wish we had I wish we required you to name yourself at the beginning, because most people just fly right by that menu and don't actually do that, and then they're like, oh man, my name's not here.
You know, I did see the option to rename myself, but I'm like, oh, it's okay, I'll just get straight into the game, and maybe I'll set my leaderboard name when I get the high score, but not necessarily realizing that the name is posted before there's an opportunity to change it.
Yeah, so that would also be the other probably better fix, is to just let you change the name right before it gets posted. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, so
It is. Our audio guy ended up doing all the leaderboard stuff too, so he was very overworked. In fact, right now as we speak, he's I think still. I know I saw one of your questions was like future plans for this game, and
yeah,
we've had enough people be like, "Oh, multiplayer would be awesome," that's what he's doing right now.
Okay, wow.
We're starting with just like co-op multiplayer, but I think he always likes to try to add in networked multiplayer.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I can definitely imagine it in a very like overcooked kind of sense, like this same idea of like running around and frantically like everyone trying to coordinate. You know, like do they focus on one color of package, or because I can imagine a game like this being split up into a bunch of levels, and you're all like working together towards like trying to clear a specific objective, and you just like unlock more of these machines, more complexity over time. Like the first version of the factory, you don't even get the fire pit you have to run around. Ooh,
yeah, that would be a really cool possible future for this game. I think we definitely have to rescale the difficulty quite a bit, because right now it just kind of, you know, gets pretty hectic pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we were running into just it feeling kind of tedious too. So, you know, struggling a little bit with that. And then also, I made Maple Leaf. Yeah, I think so. We wanted a little bit of floaty slipperiness, in the controller. In fact, we even one of the early mechanics we thought about adding was like ice patches to the floor.
Oh my gosh!
So you could really like slide around. But I think just with the way how many boxes ended up happening and kind of abandoning some of those ideas led us to a game that would possibly, I think, work a little bit better with the snappier character controller. But it's just one of those things, right, where the game doesn't always go the direction you think it's going to at the beginning. And the character controller is like the very first thing we made. We'll see if I get some shade from my character controller guy from that comment.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too slippery. Like, I can mostly force the character to go where I want them to. I was actually curious about with these dropping tiles, with the revealing the lava, apparently, underneath this facility. Is there a logic to the way that the tiles will drop out? Like, is there guaranteed to be a path back to each of the sort of drop points?
So it ended up being really simple. We just had certain tiles couldn't drop, certain tiles could. So Roka went in and kind of designated, all right, all of these tiles, they must stay here so that you can still get to the machines and still do the thing. Everything else can drop away randomly. And then the dropping script kind of escalates we have a hidden difficulty level that's just kind of steadily increasing either by time or by packages fulfilled, sorted.
Mm-hmm.
So those two things will increase the difficulty, and that leads to more dropping, more packages that unlocks different types of packages and stuff like that.
Gotcha. You know, I think that one other suggestion that just came to mind, if you made it so that the actual processing took longer, so that you had the time to like drop something in. Oops. Drop something into a machine and then like go grab a tile and then come back to the machine when it finished, then it would kind of it would sort of tempt you to like, ooh, let me start this ghost processing and then let me go grab something in the meantime, and then, oh no, the ghost has popped loose, because right now I just kind of wait for it to finish, and then it's not really a threat to my work process.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea. I think that's something I didn't get around to thinking about, but I would have definitely, when I initially built the machines, I put in, obviously the ability to tweak process time, and the animation will, of course, just a little like rumbling animation will adjust itself based on the processing time. And you might notice the piglet processing is a little bit longer than the ghost or the sorting. But yeah, that's something I wish I'd had time to go back and do a balance pass specifically on that, and also just on the sheer amount of packages, because I think you're probably starting to get it right now, where your computer's starting to lag a bit.
Yeah.
And that's the real end game, right? It's almost a bit of a pay-to-win game. The better hardware you have, the higher score you're going to be able to get to.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because I might end up in a circumstance where the lower frame rate actually makes it easier for me to maneuver.
Yeah, and then it gets to a point where it's just so hard to
It's just stuttering.
to like aim, and you're like, yeah, it takes a long time. I think we'll be getting there pretty soon here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we like the sort of idea of like things getting really frantic with this just like overwhelming pile of boxes. Let's see if I can get another 10 points from this ghost box here. Okay, it's just nice and slow. Catch that 10 points. I mean, I'm actually doing quite well on not making mistakes. So if anything, I'm going to die to falling in the lava or getting stuck. Oh, geez. Okay, there's definitely a few times where I've gotten stuck on something.
Yeah, the colliders. To be honest, that was on our bug list for a long time, and we just never quite got it out. As I said, our organization could use a little bit of work.
I mean, I definitely. I know it's quite tricky to, as you said, like 7. Oh god. Okay, everything just went flying. Oh no, the pig fell in the lava. That's so tragic. Let's see if I can grab this. Okay, one more ghost. One more ghost. Let's see. God, I'm stuck again. But yeah, it's funny that I can imagine a version of this game both working as a sort of what do you want to call it, like an Overcooked style co-op game, but also working as a mobile, like, click and drag, solo experience. I think both work.
That's interesting. We've gotten a lot of comments, and Overcooked, of course, was an inspiration of ours when kind of building out this gameplay. So that one, it's been pretty obvious, but the click and drag is something that I definitely had not thought of before. Oh god.
Oh yeah, everything's going real bad.
Yeah, so the click and drag is an interesting thing that we had not considered. So yeah, I think that little pathway between all 4 drop-offs there, I think that one is guaranteed to remain.
Just the reason I mentioned it was because there was a game on the DS. Actually, I think both Super Mario 64 DS and the original New Super Mario Brothers had a mini game with this like sorting black and pink bombs to either side of the screen. And God, it's anyone's guess as to when that pile is going to overflow and I'm going to get my last strike. But until then, I'm just going to keep on sorting yellow boxes.
Yep. It's kind of funny how close those boxes get to the incinerator without going in for the longest time.
Oh, we're running up against that limit.
Going in. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's really interesting. It would be... I think we're more likely to go to, if we were to really continue post-jam, other than this local co-op kind of update we want to push out. I think we're definitely more likely to go through the Overcooked route. But that's definitely something interesting to consider. We hadn't thought of before. And Empty. We also thought that this game could have worked for last jam too, right? Delivery. So it's kind of funny you had a game similar to that.
Oh my god. Everything is lagging so the game's just like, please let me die.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I've seen somebody get this far before. I certainly haven't gotten this far, so you're doing better than me.
Well, it's just because I'm lucky and nothing is like fallen into the trash pit. Like the moment that overflows, like I'm one strike away. I'm just like incrementally grabbing, like okay, $1 at a time. Let's just keep on boosting my score here by one.
Oh, I just saw the
Oh,
trash
there we go.
bag overflow and drop into the incinerator, which is
Got a bonus point.
correct. Yeah, there you go. Wow, 145. That's really good.
Hey, top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, there you go.
I've toppled
That's awesome.
Jeff Borzos Esquire. Are those randomized names that like are chosen if you don't pick a name manually?
Please do not incinerate.
No, I think there were just two different versions of the default name that I think got
Okay.
changed at some point. Yeah, our character the guy who did a lot of the character controller stuff he wants to fight me now, so I'll have to deal with that before next jam, hopefully. But yeah, so it's just two different versions of the default.
Yeah, I just saw the question in chat. This is the game that we are playing currently, Amazon Employee Learning Lab. And just coincidentally, I ended up getting the high score because the game was really starting to overflow on the physics object count, but we were lucky and things didn't fall into the incinerator and start overflowing. So, but yeah, I think that's about where we're going to call it. Actually, you know what? I always want to ask the question at least. What was the most difficult problem you encountered during the jam, and how did you solve it?
Let's see, the most difficult problem. I mean, sometimes, yeah, Roka's right. It's kind of the tedium of the gameplay. A lot of times, this is the kind of trap we fall into a lot. Is we get really excited about an idea and we start going off and we just want to make this idea as cool as possible, right? And then we kind of start to realize, like, hey, we've kind of moved pretty far away from the theme. We gotta loop back and hit the theme somehow. Yeah, the warehouse in the early stages was way bigger, and you spend all this time walking back and forth, and it got really tedious, right? And so we kind of decided to kill two birds with one stone and shrink the warehouse, and that would, one, reduce some of that tedium, right? And then two, that would also kind of bring us closer to the theme, give players more of a sense of limited space. There's not enough, because I think the original idea is that your whole package room would start to really fill up with boxes, and you just run out of space because there's boxes everywhere. And as we developed, we moved farther and farther away from that. So by shrinking the warehouse, we kind of started to move back to that. I think what I wanted to do is I did actually make the boxes all 25% bigger right at the end. And I was worried that making them any bigger would really start to mess with a lot of our other systems, right? There's only so much you can do there without like redesigning all of the various colliders and the deposit holes and machines and all that stuff. So it's something I kind of wish we made it like less packages but bigger packages to keep that running out of space, but limit the physics, the issues there too.
Yeah. I feel like one other thing you could have done is make it so that each time package is added to the game, it is done so on a conveyor belt, and it just kind of occupies a single grid square and then just continuously pushes whatever was there over one, which could really immediately make it a priority to at least grab something and move it out of the way so it doesn't fall into the incinerator. But then you kind of allow the player to sort of construct their own hell as they fill up the space immediately surrounding this conveyor belt. And you have a slightly tighter system that doesn't involve a physics overload because each thing is just occupying a single square.
Yeah, well, in conveyor belts were one of our early mechanics that we really wanted. Well, I especially really wanted conveyor belts from the beginning. But it was going to be, we kind of really like this idea of boxes flying and the chaotic nature of boxes flying around the room, and that's why those deposit machines like reject with a force, right? We wanted that chaos of boxes flying. And so originally one of the mechanics that I really wanted was conveyor belts that you would that would go towards the end. In fact, I don't know if there's a way for you to show this on stream, but I've got a little concept art picture I want to share with you.
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Okay, let me. I'll put it in your Discord, just in stream chat.
Yeah, stream chat works. Oh God, no. Roka is not happy about this.
Oh yeah, well he he made it. I'm struggling to get this to copy paste. Why are you not? Oh, how do you get a image options? Can I? No.
Oh, the suspense.
Okay, you know what? I don't know how to get the image off, so I'm just going to screenshot the image. Even more jank. Let's do it.
Initially, I imagined the whole room being full of spaghetti of conveyor belts, take up a bunch of space. Yeah, I can totally. I see. Yeah. Call it up here. Classic MS Paint concept art.
Yep. So this was like the original concept, and so we're gonna have like these conveyor belts kind of snake around each other. So you could like the idea is the conveyor belts would have some magnetism to them, right? So you could toss a box to a conveyor belt, and it would kind of get pulled on and then move along the lane. And you could accidentally throw a box, another box, knocking it off, or maybe you want to accidentally get on the wrong conveyor belt, but then you'd have a few seconds to run over and pull it off and put it on the right one. So that's kind of like that was the original idea. Is just but the conveyor belts. We started developing conveyor belts kind of fell further behind on the list of priorities and mechanics because we don't need them. And eventually it's just like, we don't have enough time to build this whole system.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think conveyor belts would be a fun, chaotic thing to have in the game, but also I was just suggesting it as what would be dropping off the packages, something that was just linearly like pushing each new package, like making room for itself at the cost of something getting like nudged towards the incinerator. Yeah,
so dropping things off.
Yeah, because I totally get it. I know you want to preserve that feeling of high chaos, but if you can find a way to balance the high chaos with the just reducing the number of packages so you don't run into the like physics overload. I mean, thankfully they're all pretty basic physics shapes, but I can imagine a version.
Well, and Godot does the thing where the rigid bodies will sleep if they're not being interacted with.
Yes.
So if they all sit there in a pile, they'll all sleep, and it won't be as. But the second you run into that pile, then
it all
it's just
starts cascading.
Drop.
Yeah, I was noticing that it would kind of like settle down a bit, and I'd have my frames back, and then, it's perfect. That sort of like chaos energy works very well for the game jam environment, and it can certainly work well if the game is a sort of like party experience as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where you end up taking this. I hope you and the team have an opportunity to continue development, and if you do end up making any strides, and come up with a new version, I'd be happy to take another look at it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think we'll see. We'll definitely do some sort of co-op. In fact, I think we're almost ready with a co-op version, a local co-op, awesome. And maybe we'll do a networked co-op. I mean, networked games are hard. Like, have you seen the Crab Raft game?
Yes, I played it. I played Cookie Man's game yesterday. Yeah, we had an interview with Cookie Man.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've been having a lot of fun with that. And he did that too in like Rust, right? It's impressive. Impressive stuff for sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, I know networked multiplayer games are a whole thing. Like your game is either built to support it or it isn't. You have to like write it to make sure that it is.
Yeah. I remember once, many jams ago, there was I think it was the theme was combine two incompatible genres, and there's this guy. He made I forgot what the second genre was. It was kind of like a first-person shooter, and you get in there, and you start like exploring this room and kind of doing these little puzzles. And then the dev himself will get a notification that you start playing this game, and he'd hop in and jump into your world and start like pretending to be an enemy AI. And it was wild. And then you eventually figure out, no, this is an async multiplayer game where only the dev has the option to be your opponent. And you're actually playing the dev. That was really cool. I remember being totally blown away by that.
I can only imagine like Oh god. Okay, so no one's allowed to steal this idea, but I'm about to say it aloud to all people who are alive. You have a an invisible pattern in your game. Like there's
Mhm.
just something inconsequential on the screen, like some triangles and circles or whatever, that are secretly a code that you can look at. So if you're the developer, you look at that code on someone's stream and you use that to like wire into their specific play session. And that way you can start messing with them live and seeing what their reaction is and like making the game become self-aware and like say things to the streamer. Just make
Yeah,
them
that would be a lot of
totally
fun.
freak out.
That would definitely be a lot of fun. There's a
Oh no, was
tricky.
there a game that already? Oh, okay. I'm getting word that Truck Game, Landfall, and Welcome to the Game too. Okay, okay, okay. So it, I understand this is not a wholly unique idea, but gosh, it sounds like fun just to mess with someone in front of a live audience.
It does.
Um,
And Henry, yeah, I've heard it, Joel. We haven't messed with it yet, so I didn't want to like bring it in for a game jam when we haven't played with it. But that's definitely something I've been wanting to try in Godot. I guess Gabriel, have you worked in Godot before? Because I know this is kind of like a hot topic right now, right?
yeah, I mean, I actually no, I've not worked with Godot. I've worked with GameMaker and I've worked with Unity for
Mhm.
my day job, and we are heavily considering switching to Unreal.
Okay, okay. I know Roko works in Unreal for his day job. Um, but yeah, no, that's such a Godot has been it's been fun to my very computer science minded friend, the guy who did like the character controller and the more difficult tasks, to be perfectly honest.
Hmm.
Uh he's not happy with Godot on kind of like a he wants to make a game with Rust Bevy, right? That's what he wants to do. I am not as good of a programmer to do that kind of thing. So I've personally been really loving Godot because
Hmm.
it's very usable. It's very easy to get up and running. I think the signal system is just wonderful. It's so much better than any of the three different event systems that Unity's had over the years. Um, so there are parts that I really love, but yeah, the performance isn't always great. And
Hmm.
if you really want to dig deep into the performance, it becomes kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, it's open source, right? So theoretically, if you're having a specific problem, you can actually go in and fix it yourself. But do
Yeah,
you really
I mean,
want to
you
be
could go
doing
into
that?
this C++ if you really want, right?
Hmm.
But even then, I don't know. I've read some like write ups kind of on some guys who are much smarter than I am who've kind of investigated a lot of that. And of course, it's open source, so I think that it can be fixed. But
Hmm.
it's also like any other project been built on years of technical debt and whatnot, and it can be very hard to fix.
Yep. I mean, well, let's be honest. What isn't, right? Like, it's always trade-offs. Like everything is going to be built on technical debt. Like, famously, Halo Infinite came out to this launch, and there were these bugs people were encountering, and it's like we literally can't fix these. Like the developers were just saying, like, so first of all, it's years of technical debt. Second of all, everyone's a contractor, so they left the studio. We don't even know how to fix these. And it's just like, oh my god, like this is the state that the industry is in, is that we're just kind of like crossing our fingers and using game engines that are like decades old at this point because there's no it would take way too much money and time to rebuild those things from scratch. And yeah, I don't see an easy solution. This is a whole other can of worms to start discussing, so we can wrap
Right.
things up there.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I guess I just want to say, and for everybody in chat, that I think Godot 4 has been a lot of fun to work with. It's very easy to get up and running.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of features from Unity that I miss. Like honestly, the prefab variants is a feature that I miss a lot in Godot. Godot has a concept of scenes, which is kind of similar to prefabs, but it doesn't not nearly as easy to do the whole variance thing
Right.
that Unity does. But anyways, I'll leave it there.
Sure. I mean, here's a positive note to end on. Is just acknowledge that all of these engines have their own problems, and at the end of the day, you just pick the engine you are most comfortable developing in.
Yep, absolutely. Like I still love Unity, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I personally love scriptable objects in Unity. I love like some of the flexibility that affords. So I'm gonna miss those features. But Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out for goodness, this has been a relatively long interview, but it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad to have the top spot on the leaderboard. That doesn't happen very often. And usually I'm like barely placing, if at all. But as I said, yes, whether it's this game or any other game that you and the team end up working on, I'd be happy to take a look in future jams. So always hope you feel free to come back and submit a game in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, man, I love this whole game dev interviews thing. I think this is an awesome idea. I've been wanting to do something similar, but I'm not much of a streamer. I stream for LD, but not after that. So I love this. I love this. It was really fun to come on and talk to you. And if we do make other further updates, I'll hit you up and maybe we can have another chat.
Sounds great. Well, thank you.
Or at the very least, you can check out.
Thank you thank you for the feedback. It's always great to hear that people are enjoying the format. And yeah, I'll let you get on with your evening. But thanks again for coming on.
All right, thanks. You too. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye for now.